Barak Yahawah, Bahashem Yahawashi, Bahashem Rawchaa Qadash. Welcome to another live lesson. The name of this one is Surely the Least of the Flock Shall Draw Them Out. This is based off of the title from the book of Jeremiah, the 49th chapter and the 50th chapter, which Lord's will, we're going to read both of those verses and then get into it. And pretty much this is just prophecy unfolding before your eyes. And when I heard about this, I thought about, these individuals, these small hats, and pretty much that this particular group, these small hats, they would not be messing with Iran, unless they had America backing them. Right? Had they not had anyone with the military might of America, they would not have been prodding and poking at Iran or any other nation, that was far greater in military than themselves. And the reason why they're doing what they're doing is because it's prophecy. So, we can't get away from prophecy. Now, I put this video in the description box. It's from Live Now from FC, which I'm not sure what FC means. But it says, Israel-Hamas war. Iran plots attack on Israel. Top generals killed. Live Now from Fox. And apparently what happened was Israel attacked, the Iranians and killed one of their top generals. And from what I'm understanding from this video, they were actually more than just a general. There were other top officials that were involved that got killed by these devils, these small hats. And pretty much, they're vowing revenge, recompense, but like this individual was saying, no one really knows when or how they will exact this vengeance upon them. And like I said, it's all part of biblical prophecy. Now, I have here the two precepts, one in Jeremiah 49 and 20, the other one in Jeremiah 50 and 45. And these two verses, right, along with other verses from both Jeremiah 49 and Jeremiah 50 and 51, tie Babylon the Great, which this is talking about, with Esau. And I'm going to show you that. Jeremiah 49 and 20. Therefore hear the counsel of Yahawah, Bahashem Yahawashi, that he have taken against Edom. All right, Edom, for those of you that don't know, is the biblical nationality of the so-called white man today. All right, and when you look at so-called white people, which are Edomites, not every single one of them that looks like a so-called white person is an Edomite, because you have Israelites that are among them. The Esau himself is ignorant of this fact. Jake themselves are ignorant of this fact, and the nations are ignorant of this fact. Because if you, as an Israelite, let's say, lay down with any other nation, a man, Israelite man, lays down with any woman of any nation, even though that baby may not look like your typical Israelite, so-called Negro, Latino, Native American, Indian, that baby is still an Israelite. It's not no half and half. He may look like his mother. He might have his mother's color. He might speak his mother's language, follow after his mother's customs, so on and so forth. But that baby is still an Israelite. This is why the Lord has to go around the world with this word and sift among these nations to pull out Israel from among them, because he said not the least of them, not one of them is going to be lost. Because the promise that the Most High made to Abraham was to him and his seed. The seed is determined by the man, by the father, not by the mother. It's determined by who the man is. All right, and that's how the Lord is going to sift the nation of Israel, whether they're men or women that look like the other nations from around the world, and bring them out of these different nations. All right. And that is a very heavy mystery that even Israelites that know that they're Israelites can't even, grasp, nowadays, because they'll either call brothers half-breeds or heathens based on what they look like, and not looking at the spirit that's in them, that is the spirit of an Israelite, all right, that excels above any other nation. So the Edomites that are being addressed here in Jeremiah 49 are the so-called white people, and with the exception of those aforementioned. Now you do have Edomite-looking people from the nation of Ham, from the nation of Elam, from the nation of Ishmael, so on and so forth. All right. It all depends on who the father is. All right. As of now, the IDF has canceled all leave passed for combat units and called up all reservists pursuant the threats being made by the Iranians. Okay, hey, well, that's good news. Called up all reservists pursuant to the threats being made by the Iranians. Yeah, so they're getting prepared, and that goes into, matter of fact, since you said that, before we read on, let's go real quick to Joel. See, it all stems back to prophecy, and this is what the average wacky-tacky Christian, including, Vocab Malone and others of his ilk, are trying to get away from. They're trying to get away from, prophecy. This is why they want to argue theological terms. They want to argue, words, strifes of words. They want to try to go into, this word and that word, which we also go into words to make a point, to prove the point. But they're trying to do it to disprove what we're teaching. But when you go back to the prophecies do not lie. That's why scriptures speak about, when Yahawashi said, watch as well as pray, watching for the prophecies. Also, when it speaks about measuring the time diligently within itself, that also goes back to when you read the scriptures and you look on the world scene and you see certain things that are happening around the world that tie back into what you're reading, which are the prophecies being fulfilled day by day. Because every day that comes and goes, Yahawah Bashem Yahawashi causes something to happen to further this truth. Okay? So Joel 3:9 says, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. This is talking about the actual heathen. And it says what? Prepare war. So get ready for war. Why? Because this gathering of these different troops that you see gathering over there in what they call the Middle East, which is really Asia, but they call it the Middle East. That is where the scriptures say all of these things would be taking place. As a matter of fact, just to segue into that real quick, let's go to the previous chapter in Joel, and then we can go back. Joel chapter 2 and verse 20. And it says, but I will remove far off from you the northern army. What is the northern army? The northern army is speaking about America, Babylon the Great. And remove far off from you because they're leaving from the so-called Americas and being planted all the way over there on the other side of the world, the eastern part of the world. They're leaving from the west and going to the east. All right. So this northern army, which is the American army, and will drive them into a land barren and desolate. Right. When we go into, let's just bear with me 1 second. I have to put it this way because if not, it's not going to give me what I want. All right, let's deal with this right here. Let's see if this map will come up. All right, get rid of this. Let's go here. All right. What you see here is a map of what they call the Middle East, which really this is still a part of Asia, and I'll let the expert break it down. The Elder Malcolm, he's an expert on that. But if you look here, you see that this area here, this is where Israel is. This is Lebanon, Syria, Turkey, or Turkiya. Inside Jordan, you have Egypt, Cairo, Libya, so on and so forth. Then you have here what? Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia is, for all of this, from all of this area here, this is all desert land. All right, so the Lord is taking these military men and driving them over to a land barren and desolate, as we just read. So he removed the northern army and will drive them to a land barren and desolate. Now I forgot what year. I think it was in the either 89 or 90 or somewhere around there, where the battle dress uniforms, which are the BDUs, which are the standard issue uniforms that are given to the American military, went from the camouflage green jungle type BDUs, whether they were winter or summer. Brothers that were in the military know what I'm talking about. They went from that jungle green and brown and black, you know, to blend in with the terrain of the jungle when they were fighting in, you know, Vietnam, Cambodia, all them different places, wherever it was they were fighting. And they went from that to the BDUs, or the battle dress uniforms, of the beige looking ones that would help you to blend in more into a terrain as far as desert goes. All right, I did a lesson on it a while back. I don't remember what year it was when they made those. If a brother remembers or knows, they could post it on the comment board, you know. But the reason why they went from that to that, because in 1989 they started going over there, but really 1990 is when you had something called, I believe it was January of 1990, if I'm not mistaken, they had something called Desert Storm. All right, and Desert Storm, you know, got bigger and bigger progressively and became a war, you know, with Iraq. All right, and all the military men from America that were over there were dressed in these desert type uniforms. And there's a reason for it, because, you know, this is prophecy. We're reading about it right now as we speak. So, but I will remove far off from you the northern army and will drive him into a land barren and desolate, with his face toward the East Sea. Now, what is the East Sea? The East Sea would be what they classify today as, I don't see it here, would be what they would classify today, just bear with me 1 second, as the Euphrates River. Let's see, Euphrates River. All right. You have here the Euphrates River, which they have highlighted. It should come up pretty decent size right here. This is the Euphrates River. This is what they would classify as the East Sea. So there's Euphrates River, which is the main river in end day prophecy. Also down here you have the Persian Gulf, and all of this is all a part of that sea, or that body of water that the scriptures are speaking about. I wish I had a little bit of a bigger map to highlight that also. Here we go. Right, you have the Tigris River here, you have the Euphrates River, and then as you go further down, you have the Persian Gulf. All of this is part of that, but mainly the Euphrates River. This is all a part of that body of water that is considered in the scriptures as the East Sea. All right. Let me move that over there. It says, and his hinder part toward the utmost sea. Now, what is the utmost sea? Well, that would be something known as the Red Sea. All right, let me go back. I should have kept that other map. Let's see if we could pull that back. Right. So let me see if I go to images, what will come up. Let's try this one. I want something that's labeled so we could, you know. Let's see what this one says. Red Sea. There we go. All right. So this is Saudi Arabia. This is the land barren and desolate. You know, Iraq is part of it. Kuwait, all of this. You have the Euphrates River that goes through there, right? Through Babylon, ancient Babylon. And the Euphrates River and the Tigris River. You have the Persian Gulf. All of this is part of that body of water that's towards the east. And then towards the west, or the utmost east, which is the furthest behind it, is the Red Sea. So in this land here, which is the land barren and desolate, you know, we have, you know, the military of America and other militaries all in here fighting these wars, or fighting these skirmishes, you know, preparing for the final battle, which the scriptures call World War III. All right. It says, and his stink shall come up, and his ill savor shall come up, because he have done great things. And that's going to be all the dead bodies that's going to be in that area. And that's why the first order of business for the slaves, once we gather the slaves up, you know, all of the top banking families and the stragglers, or whatever nation is still on the planet, which all nations will be on the planet, but all of the survivors, especially the international banker families, the richest families who are going to survive this destruction. The ACU Deserts uniform in 2004. Yeah, but I believe that they went back a little further than that. 1990, I believe the change came for BDU. Yep. It had to be around that time, because when they were over there, they couldn't go over there in their regular green. All right, so the very first job of these so-called international banking families, the slaves, are going to be in that area. One group of them will be in the front, putting, you know, looking at the bodies and putting, you know, banners for these bodies. And then the next group is going to come dig holes and take those bodies and bury them. All right. So that's going to be the very first job that they have. And the scriptures say that they're going to have continual employment. So there ain't going to be no unemployment in the kingdom for you heathen. Right. So now going back to Joel 3:9, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war. So that's why the Lord is bringing. Remember, the scriptures say that the Lord mustereth the host of the battle. And that region is prophesied in the last days to be, you know, the place where the gathering or the mustering of these different militaries is going to take place. Because when you jump up to the second verse, Joel 3:2, I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat. When you look at the term Jehoshaphat, it's a compound word, Yahawah, which means Yahweh's judgment. And will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. And this is the point right here. This is going to tie into the rest of the lesson, Lord's will. All right, so the Lord is bringing World War III and the destruction of these nations and their angels, which represent their military, their weapons and all that, because of what they did to Israel, the controversy of Israel. So when we jump back down to the 9th verse, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. And that's why you see the amount of troops gathering over there, which another word that we could go into is the word Armageddon, which is a Greek word, Armageddon, right? And then it goes back to the Hebrew. When you go there, it tells you is of Hebrew origin, which is also a word. There's many different words within that word. Is Harmageddon. Now, Har is either hill or mountain. God is troop. The ma in front of it represents of or from. and the ending of it represents plural. So Har-Magad-Wan is mountain of the troops. Har-Magad-Wan, mountain of the troops. And that goes hand in hand with Jehoshaphat or Yahawah, because the Lord is gathering all nations there, all of their militaries, because his main beef is with Esau, the nations, and their militaries. All right? When you go to war, you don't go to war with the people, per se. You go to war with the leaders and their militaries. And that's why when Yahawashi comes back, that's what he's coming to do. Take them out. All right? It says, beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears, meaning take your agricultural tools and make them and invest your money into weaponry. Let the weak say I am strong, because the weak are the nations that at one point that didn't have the technology of the missiles. Now you have a lot of nations that have invested money into their military and building up their arsenal, which includes what the scriptures call the wasted to destroy, which are these missiles. And specifically, a lot of them are looking into getting, nuclear arsenals, because that's the strongest weapon that Esau has and the strongest weapon today. It says, assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about. Thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord, Yahawah Bashem Yahawashi. Which when these militaries gather together, the Most High Yahawah is going to send his son Yahawashi, Michael the Archangel, and the rest of the angels to do battle with Esau and the other nations and their militaries. Let the heathen be wakened. Yeah, because that's how you waken. By having these different skirmishes and different things happen and these different beefs, to where now you have to call your military to be up in arms and prepared and ready to go to battle. And come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, which the scriptures also call, World War III. Whoa. All right, and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, meaning that region over there, and what they call the Middle East. For there will I sit to judge all heathen round about. Because when you go to Isaiah 34, it breaks it down that the Lord is gathering the militaries over there. He's gathering the nations to pour upon them his indignation, even all his fierce anger. Because the Lord is going to get busy when he comes back. Hey, when men go to war, they usually yell, from the adrenaline, pumping in their veins, their blood going, and pumping itself up to go to battle. So when Yahawashi comes back, he's gonna do the same thing. So he's gonna roar like a lion, Put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. This is pretty much parabolic talk, saying that this time of this prophecy is ready. This is why you see the militaries amassing over there. You see all of the, fights and skirmishes. I guess that's the word of the day, going on over there on that side of the world. Come get you down, for the press is full, the fats overflow. For their wickedness is great. Yeah, and this is pretty much how we know we're at the end of the world, because as we speak, we see the condition that the world is in, the wicked direction that is going in, and we see the different militaries amassing over there and fighting over there. So we know that we're at the end of the world, because the wickedness has exceedingly polluted the whole earth, as the scriptures say. It says multitudes in the valley of decision. This goes into Armageddon. It goes into Jehoshaphat. And this is also another name for it, the valley of decision. Because this is where the Most High is going to have them fight that last battle, which is going to end all wars. You see, and this is how we know that that those small hats that are in the land of Israel today are not the people of the Most High, because there are still wars around the world, and they're causing these wars to happen around the world. It says, for the day of Yahawah Bashem Yahawashi is near in the valley of decision. All right, so you can read the rest of this. It's pretty much self-explanatory. So now let's move from there. Let's go back here to Jeremiah 49:20. Therefore hear the counsel of Yahawah by Sham that he had taken against Edom. All right, which when we jump to the Jeremiah 15:45, therefore hear ye the counsel of Yahawah by Shem that he have taken against Babylon, because these Edomites in the last day would be ruling what is known as Babylon the Great. Right? It says, and right back here, and his purposes, right here, and his purposes that he had purpose against the inhabitants of Teman, which was, the head. This is one of the heads of Esau, the wisest men of Esau. It says that he had purpose against the land of the Chaldeans, which was the wisest men of the Babylonian Empire. So this is parallel. The Jeremiah 49:20 and Jeremiah 15:45 are parallel one with the other, because these modern day Babylonians are Edomites, the rulers. It says, surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Meaning what? Draw them out to battle. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. See? Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them. Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them. This is how you know that Jeremiah 49 and 50 and 51 all apply to Esau, the new Babylon the Great. All right? So the Edomites are the modern day Babylonians. They're the modern day Egyptians. They're the modern day Assyrians, so on and so forth. All right? Now, let's go from there to this scripture, Jeremiah 50 and 45. Therefore hear ye the counsel of Yahawah by Shem that he hath taken against Babylon, and his purpose that he hath purpose against the land of the Chaldeans. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them. Because once America is destroyed by the technology of the thermonuclear destruction, weapons, hypersonic missiles, so on and so forth, this place is going to be utterly wasted. All right? Like, not Cyrus, like my man, the head of the, forgot, the Rifts, wanted them to pretty much waste all of the warriors. I want them alive, if not wasted. It says, at the noise of the taking of Babylon, the earth is moved. Why? Because there's going to be a great earthquake that's going to rock this place. This place is going to be rocked by a great earthquake. Let's go to Isaiah 24. And there's plenty of scriptures on that great earthquake that's going to take place. But I want to go straight to this one, because this one explains it pretty good. Isaiah 24:19. The earth is utterly broken down because Esau destroyed it. The earth is clean dissolved, meaning that it's going to be removed of the filth, like Esau, the other nations, the heathenistic ways, and it's going to be refreshed and renewed under new management of Yahawah Bashem Yahushai wa Yasha'Allah, which are the Israelites. The earth is moved exceedingly, because the Lord is going to move the rulers. He's going to remove the rulers and put the new ruler in charge, which is Yahawashi. That's why in the vision that the Apostle John saw, he saw Yahawashi, with many crowns on his head, meaning he won many victories over all of these nations. Not that he's going to actually have a bunch of crowns on his head, but this is what the Apostle John saw in the vision. The earth shall reel to and fro like a drunkard. So what does this sound like? Earthquake. They just recently had the largest earthquake in Taiwan in the last 25 years, and they showed video of the actual earth moving while the earthquake was happening inside of buildings. Then they have video, people taking videos outside of buildings. They showed a couple of buildings kind of arched in a 45-degree angle, almost fell and collapsed from that great earthquake that happened there. So just imagine the whole earth rocking and rolling and shaking like that from those missiles that's going to be pelting down upon it. That's going to cause tsunamis. That's going to cause a lot of problems. That's why the safest place to be in that day would be in the chariot of Yahawashi, and whatever other chariots the brothers and sisters around the world are going to be beamed up into. Because we know definitely America is going to, the elect in America are going to go into Yahawah's chariot, which is, Yahawah's chariot is big enough to get all of, all of it, the elect of Israel from around the four corners of the earth. It says, and shall be removed like a cottage, and the transgression thereof shall be heavy upon it, and it shall fall and not rise again. It shall fall and not rise again. So Esau will never rise again once his kingdom falls. All right. So Nate, Bishop Nathaniel needs to correct that. All right. So back in Jeremiah 15:46, at the noise of the taking of Babylon, the earth is moved and the cry is heard among the nations. Why? Because they're going to witness the fall of America. This goes hand in hand with Revelation 18, where it says they're going to be standing afar off for fear of a torment. So they're going to see the devastation from afar off, because you're still going to have the satellites up in the heavens. That's going to be, projecting those signals around the earth, showing the destruction of Babylon, showing the fire, the wall of fire or the lake of fire, flowing across America and destroying everything in its sight. And then they're going to see the ashes and the smoke and the soot and everything going up. That in this side of the world, some of the sun is going to be blocked out because of so much soot and so much smoke that's going to be happening. So these small hats are pretty much pushing America into a bad position, which is a good position because it's biblical prophecy, but they're pushing America to get involved in these different wars. And then you have Russia, you have China, because China is backing Russia, Russia is backing, Iran. So these small hats are getting America pretty much involved in this third world war, because the Lord set it up so. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. And as I said before, had not America been involved or backed the small hats, they would have never done anything like this. They would have probably picked on, the Palestinians and other individuals, Syria, whatever, but they would have never got involved with Iran, especially knowing that Iran is backed by Russia, and other so-called Islamic countries. So Ezekiel 38 and 1, I'm sorry, I'm just going to go straight to the point. I'll go to 3. And say, thus saith the Lord power, behold, I am against thee, O God, which represents Russia today, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal. Meshach and Tubal is a representation of Turkey or Turkiya. This is why you see, even though Turkey is a part of NATO, they still flirt with Russia, because Russia is going to be a guard unto them. It says, now will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, meaning bringing back the USSR, to its former ways, and will bring thee forth, and all thine army, which is going to be 5/6 of the Russian military, is going to be involved in this war. A sixth is going to be left back in the country to protect the country, but 5/6 of his army is going to be involved in this particular war. Horses and horsemen, which represent, their military, their planes and tanks and all that, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, because it's wartime. Even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. Then you have the allies of Russia, which is Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya with them. And I've done lessons where I've showed that Iran, Ethiopia, and Libya are all in good relations with Russia. All of them with shields and helmet. Why? This represents their arsenal, their weaponry, which their weaponry, some of it is supplied by Russia itself. Gomer and his bands, which represents Turkey, the house of Togarmah of the north quarters, and all his bands, and many people with you, because they have allies on their side. Even when you go back to World War I, World War II, you had the Axis powers and you had the Allied powers, I believe it was. So every time you have a war, you have allies. You have some people that are on one side, and you have others that are on the other side. No different today. You have America and the EU, which are all those European nations. You have Canada, and then you have Russia, you have China, you have Iran, you have Turkey, pretty much, even though, because Turkey is going to turn on America, because remember, the scriptures speak about the 10 horns turning on this hoe. Then you have Persia, which is Iran. You have Ethiopia, Libya, you know, and the likes. And you have a lot of countries that are on the side of Russia and China and Iran. All right. And pretty much that's the main point, because I was going to go into another topic dealing with the same thing, but you know what? That pretty much cements the lesson pretty much, because these small hats are going to cause America to get involved with Iran, which is going to cause them to get involved with Russia, which is going to cause them to get involved with China, which is going to cause, you know, eventually World War III. But World War III, even though it's brewing and you know, certain things are happening, it will not be fully fulfilled, and the missiles will not fly until, you know, the MOTB, which is a micro C, is implemented. Now, can they do like a pocket NUKE? They could do that. Can they destroy a particular city? They may do something like that. You know, it could be like a false flag or something like that. But as far as the missiles flying and destroying this place, it's not going to happen until the MOTB is made mandatory and pushed throughout the four corners of the earth, because that's what the prophecy says. Once you see that happening, then you know, okay, boom, the missiles can fly any minute now. All right. So you get a chance, you know, watch this video. I put it in the description box. It's only 11 minutes and 13 seconds long. The least of the flock, which is Amalek, the small hats, are going to draw America into this war, because America backs them 100%. You can see that as every day goes by. This is why Maya Amshabar said, give me control of a nation's money, and I care not who makes the laws. Because at one time they were shunned by everybody, because they knew what type of scumbags they were. But now that they have top positions, leadership positions in different places, they've given their people, you know, the green light, so to speak, and the backing that they wanted. So with that, I pray that you brothers and sisters have been edified. Till the next time I say, Shalom.